Your brain isn't broken because you're lazy. You're stuck because your brain is protecting you from something it thinks is dangerous. Here's the truth. Most people miss. Laziness is a choice that responds to motivation. Depression is a system error that requires a completely different strategy. Most people can't tell which one they're dealing with. They beat themselves up for being unmotivated when their biology is actually running an outdated protection program. Think about this. If you've been stuck in the same gray fog for weeks, unable to do even the things you used to love, that's not a character flaw. That's your brain shutting down systems it thinks will hurt you. But here's the problem. Your brain is actually lying to you about why you're stuck. To find the truth, we have to look at 6 specific system errors that laziness simply can't replicate. The fourth one in particular is the one most high achievers miss until it's too late. Plus, the 1% rule that helps you prove to your brain you're still in control. Signs 1 to 3. The system error signs. The first 3 signs show up in what's happening inside your head. These are the invisible markers that separate "I don't feel like it" from "my system won't let me." Sign 1 is the fuel tank test. When you're lazy, you have energy for fun stuff, but not for work. You'll skip the boring meeting, but still have juice for video games or hanging out with friends. That's selective energy. That's a choice. But when it's depression, your tank is empty for everything. Even hobbies you used to love feel like climbing mountains. Your favorite show doesn't interest you. Texting your best friend feels exhausting. The fuel isn't there for anything, and you can't explain why. Here's what's happening in your brain. Depression isn't about motivation. It's about your reward system misfiring. The part of your brain that releases dopamine when you do enjoyable things stops working correctly. So nothing feels worth the effort because your brain literally can't generate the "this is good" signal anymore. Ask yourself this right now. Does the thing you usually love feel like work, or does it feel like nothing? If it's nothing, if there's just blank space where excitement used to be, that's your dopamine system offline. Picture this. It's Saturday morning. You don't feel like cleaning the garage. That's laziness. But the moment your friend calls asking if you want to play basketball or catch a movie, you're out the door with full energy. That's selective energy. That's a choice. Now imagine the same scenario, but when your friend calls, you feel a physical heaviness at the thought of even putting on shoes. You want to go. You know it would probably help, but your body won't cooperate. That's the difference. Sign 2 is the why gap. When you're being lazy, you know exactly why you're avoiding something. You're procrastinating because you want to relax, recharge, or avoid something uncomfortable. There's a clear reason. But with depression, there's no clear reason. Just a heavy fog you can't explain. Colors look less bright. Music sounds like static in the background. Your favorite meal tastes like cardboard. You want to move. You know you should move. But there's this invisible weight holding you down, and you have no idea where it came from. This is your brain running a prehistoric survival tactic for a modern emotional problem. Your ancestors needed this alarm system to freeze in the face of physical danger. But your brain can't tell the difference between a predator and a difficult conversation or an overwhelming workload. It's like your inner alarm system went off, but you can't see the threat. It's not that you're weak. It's that your inner alarm is screaming, but you can't see the fire. Your brain thinks it's keeping you safe by shutting everything down, but it won't tell you what it's protecting you from. That confusion, that "I don't know why I can't just do this" feeling, is a massive red flag. Sign 3 is the feeling check. When you're lazy, you might feel mild guilt, but mostly you're fine. You know you're procrastinating, you'll get to it eventually, and you don't feel broken. But depression hits different. You feel numb, blank, or like you're carrying invisible weight on your chest. Some people describe it as emotional static. Others say it's like watching your life through foggy glass. You're there, but you're not really there. This is your brain's emotional system going offline. Think of your brain like a toddler at a party. When it gets overwhelmed, it doesn't ask for help. It crawls under the table and refuses to come out. Depression is your brain hiding under that table, pulling all your systems offline to protect you. The problem is, it doesn't know when to come back out. Your emotions aren't just turned off, they're hiding somewhere you can't reach them. If you've ever felt that invisible weight we just talked about, drop a system error in the comments. It helps other people watching this realize they aren't the only ones fighting a silent alarm. These first 3 signs are about what's happening inside. But there is a physical threshold, a specific behavioral breakdown that proves your biology has officially taken over. When this next sign shows up, it's no longer about your mindset. It's about survival. And this is where the system error becomes impossible to ignore. Signs 4 to 6. The behavior breakdown. Sign 4 is the hygiene hurdle. When you're lazy, you might skip a chore or let dishes pile up for a day, but you still care about basic maintenance. You'll eventually shower, brush your teeth, change your clothes. With depression, basic tasks like showering feel like climbing mountains. Getting out of bed to brush your teeth requires energy you don't have. Changing into clean clothes seems pointless because you're just going to lie back down anyway. Here's a real example. A project manager who runs a $10 million operation spent 45 minutes sitting on the edge of the bathtub, just staring at the floor. Not because they were lazy, because the 4-step process of showering felt mathematically impossible. Turn on water, get soap, wash body, rinse off. 4 steps, impossible. And the whole time, there's this thought running in the background. I can lead a team of 50 people, but I can't figure out how to pick up a bar of soap. This is a brain in energy rationing mode. This is the sign high achievers miss until it's too late. They mistake energy rationing for loss of discipline. So they try to discipline their way out of a biological shutdown. They push harder. They set stricter schedules. They beat themselves up for lacking willpower. And that approach doesn't just fail. It accelerates the crash. You can't discipline your way out of a system error. This isn't about being gross or not caring. This is about your brain rationing energy, like you're in survival mode. When your system thinks you're in danger, it prioritizes only the most essential functions. Everything else, including personal hygiene, gets categorized as non-essential. Your brain is literally treating normal life like a luxury you can't afford right now. Sign 5 is the social shutdown. When you're lazy, you'd still go out if it sounded fun. You might turn down one invitation, but you're not avoiding everyone. With depression, you're ghosting everyone because talking requires energy you don't have. Responding to texts feels like homework. Seeing friends sounds exhausting. You're not mad at anyone. You're not choosing isolation. Here's the key insight. Your brain's social battery isn't just low. It's disconnected. The part of your brain that processes social reward, that makes connection feel good, has gone offline. So even though you logically know seeing your friend might help, the cost-benefit analysis is broken. You know this feeling if you've ever seen a text notification from someone you actually like and felt a wave of exhaustion instead of excitement. Worse, when it's from your mom or your best friend asking how you're doing and you swipe it away. Not because you don't care, because answering, "How are you?" feels like a demand you can't meet. The internal monologue goes like this. If I reply, they'll reply back. And then I'll have to maintain a conversation I don't have the fuel for. So the text sits there, unopened, and the guilt piles up. Not because you don't care, because your brain is treating social interaction like debt you can't afford to take on right now. Here's the relief. Realizing this is a battery issue, not a character issue, actually lowers the social debt. You're not avoiding people because you're broken. You're conserving energy because your system is in protection mode. Sign 6 is the time test. Laziness lasts an afternoon or a weekend. You have an off day. You recharge. You bounce back. Depression is weeks of the same gray feeling with no end in sight. You wake up, see the sun through the blinds, and feel dread. Not because something bad is about to happen, because you have to do it all over again. You wake up tired. You go to bed tired. Tomorrow is just a repeat of today, and you can't remember the last time you felt different. What actually helps? The 1% rule. Here's the truth most people miss about recovering from this state. You can't think your way out of depression. You can't wait until you feel motivated. The feeling doesn't come first. The action does. This is where the 1% rule comes in. Don't try to fix everything. Just prove to your brain you can still move the steering wheel. If you can't do the whole task, do 1% of it. One dish, one text, 1 minute of movement. That's it. Here's what this looks like in practice. Someone couldn't clean their kitchen for a week. The dishes piled up. The counters were a disaster. Instead of trying to clean the kitchen, they committed to washing exactly 1 coffee mug. Just 1. No more. They washed that mug. That single action didn't clean the kitchen, but it broke the stuck cycle. Why does this work? Because you're not trying to feel better first. You're a detective, collecting evidence that your brain's alarm system is wrong. Every tiny action is proof that tells your brain the danger has passed, that it's safe to turn systems back online. You're not teaching your brain. You're proving it wrong. And with every piece of proof, you're taking back the steering wheel. Not because the kitchen is clean, but because your hands are on the wheel again. The common mistake, waiting until you feel like it. That keeps you stuck, because the feeling won't arrive until after you move. Action creates the feeling, not the other way around. One critical note. If the 1% rule doesn't create any momentum after 2 weeks, that's your signal to talk to someone who can help. Professional support isn't failure. It's the next logical step when your brain needs more than you can give it alone. Conclusion. You aren't a lazy person trying to become disciplined. You're a capable person. Clearing a system error. Depression isn't a character flaw. It's your brain running an outdated protection program that thinks it's protecting you from danger that doesn't exist. The difference between laziness and depression is the difference between choosing rest and being trapped by biology. And here's the truth that changes everything. Every 1% win isn't just a chore done. It's a signal to your brain that the danger is over. You're not just washing a mug or sending a text. You're taking back the steering wheel. Pick one 1% win today, even if it feels pointless. That single action is proof that your brain's alarm system is wrong. You're showing your biology that it's safe to turn systems back online. Now that you know how to break the cycle, you need to know how to protect your energy long term. Watch this video next to see how to rebuild your dopamine system from scratch, and subscribe for more mental models that actually work in real life.